Hi, I'm Sexy Danny 21 Awesome, and I'm here today with JT as before. And today we're reviewing Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Not Stephen King's The Shining, because this is very, very different from the book. I think
And
this is the...
Stephen King hates this movie, let's just put that out there.
Yeah, Stephen King does not like The Shining adaptation by Stanley Kubrick. Audiences liked it. I love it. I like it more than the miniseries that King tried to do,
Yeah.
because I thought that was pretty bad.
Before we start the review, I would just like to tell you guys a story that Stephen King said about Kubrick directing the movie. Apparently, Kubrick called him up in the middle of the night when he was shaving, and his wife was like, Kubrick's on the phone, and he like cut himself shaving. So he goes up and he picks up the phone, and he goes, hello? And Kubrick's on the phone, of course, right? And Kubrick's like, he's like, I just read your book. I find it rather optimistic. And Stephen King goes, what's optimistic about it? There's nothing optimistic in the book. And Kubrick goes, well, that there's life after death. And then Stephen King was like, well, what about hell? And Kubrick says in a low voice, I don't believe in hell.
And then he directed the movie.
Yeah, that was like the only message that like Kubrick, like, that was the only time that Kubrick like called Stephen King. He also he did invite him on the set though. Stephen King did go on the set of The Shining. Now the reason why Kubrick version is so much different than Stephen King's is, like Stephen King says, Kubrick's version ends in ice, and Stephen King's version ends in fire. So that's one's cold and one's ends in fire.
Yeah, like, I watched the miniseries of Stephen King's, of the TV miniseries that came out. I prefer the Kubrick version, obviously. The miniseries...
It's definitely more crazy.
Yeah, it's a better movie. I mean, the character of Jack, I think some people would say they nailed it better in the newer one. Because, like, that's what Stephen King hated. He didn't like them casting Jack Nicholson, because he's just like, that's not the character I wrote. But aside from that, let's just go based on the movie. Let's exclude really too much from the book, because this is an adaptation. They really changed things. This one you can't really say too much centered around the book. I mean, they did make a sequel to the book that you read, right, Dr. Sleep?
Also, the labyrinth isn't in the book, and Kubrick added that, which was a really nice touch. I like the labyrinth.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, let's go over this film. So this movie is directed by Stanley Kubrick. This is Kubrick Month after all. And the thing with this film is, it's really good. It's really different though. It's like, it's got some long drawn out like shots. I love the fact that the camera feels like a character, just so the way that it's directed, like the way like a character would walk. But you'd see them like in full frame and far away walking like through this hotel. The movie, for those of you who don't know, it's basically about this writer named Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson. Of course, Jack Nicholson plays so many characters named Jack, it's ridiculous. So, anyways, him and his family, his wife Shelley Duvall, their son Danny, all head up to the Overlook Hotel to, keep an eye on it during like the off season. And basically, this hotel is haunted by ghosts or spirits or whatever you would like to call them. And the reason it's called The Shining is because their son Danny has this gift called The Shining, which is like a psychic ability. And one of what's the guy's name? The guy, the other character who has the same characteristics as him, who also has The Shining. I don't know what you want to call him, his character. But anyways, so The Shining itself, like the gift that Danny has, it's not entirely the focus of the movie. It's more about Jack and him going insane working at this hotel.
His name was Dick.
Dick, yeah, okay. So, anyways, Jack and them, they go to this hotel. He's got his wife there. And basically, being in this solitude in this hotel, Jack's a recovering alcoholic. And basically, it breaks him. The ghosts, like, manipulate him. And he starts to go on like his little like psychotic killing spree, and this is where the movie gets really good. I mean, there's some really suspenseful parts, and there's memorable moments like the two little girls, the scene in the bathtub, and
Yeah.
one of my favorite scene in the movie is the part where you read the typewriter and it says "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy." That's awesome. But Stanley Kubrick, I heard, actually wrote out each like page to make him unique. He wrote out each thing himself on a typewriter. The same thing for like I don't know, like a couple hundred pages, just typing the same thing over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. He just kept writing and typing and typing and typing and typing. Wow. So Jack Nicholson in this movie does a really good job. He's really creepy. He's got that great Jack performance in him. I just love him in this movie. Just the way he breaks down, you watch his face, you see his eyes, you're like, that is like a psychotic person. You can see it right there. This is like pure Jack at his best. So that part where he's just like, how do you like it? And then his wife, Shelley Duvall, looks terrified. I heard what Kubrick would do is he'd like yell at her and make fun of her, like scream at her, like threaten her during takes.
Kubrick was a genius because he paid attention to like detail. Like every like thought had like a purpose. And if you really analyze The Shining, there's so many like different things that like are almost like foreshadowing what's going to happen type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even a part. There's a really weird part where Jack Nicholson's character is waiting in the waiting room to talk to the guy about the hotel, the Overlook, right?
Yes, the butler guy.
And the magazine that he's reading is a Playgirl magazine, which is really weird. And Kubrick put that in on purpose because he was trying to say that maybe like there might have been more to like his character, like maybe there might have been like some sexual abuse around just beating Danny, and he put that in there on purpose. So there's like all kinds of weird things that are hidden in this movie that if you really pay attention to them, they're there. Like all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff that's in this movie that's not even in the original novel. And it's just because Kubrick decided to put it there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he was a genius, because he was paid attention to detail. There's also a scene where Danny is, where he's playing with his toys, and he's walking.
Tony.
Yeah, he's like walking around the room, right? And the shirt he's wearing is an Apollo 11 t-shirt, right? And Kubrick put that in there on purpose, because if you look at the carpet, it looks like Aladdin's one. So there's all kinds of weird things in this movie that like Kubrick put in there.
Mm-hmm. Like his own little touches for his own little like amusement or something like that. But it's like,
Yeah.
but getting back to like the performance of Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson does a great job in here. It's one of his best roles. Probably top 3 or 4, I'd say, for sure. I don't know right. I want to say this is like second or third favorite performance of mine. I think my favorite might be him as like, it's a toss up between this and the Joker as my favorite Jack roles, and like after that would be like As Good as It Gets. But like he really good in this movie. Like I just love the part after his wife reads what he's been writing the whole time, and like his he's just getting angrier and angrier. Like finally like snaps and just like goes psychotic crazy. My favorite part of the movie is when his wife finds out what he's been writing. It's just all work and no play. It makes Jack a dull boy. And then he comes in and he's just like, how do you like it? And then she looks terrified. She looks like somebody who's ready to break. Like, give me the bat, Wendy. Wendy, give me the bat. That part is really, really funny.
Girls are like terrifying in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, come play with us, Danny.
Yeah, but like his wife, like when he's just asking her to give him the bat, he's just like, you could just see his face, and he's just like, he's having so much fun. He's like, hee hee hee, and just
I know that scene like is one of the best scenes in the movie where he's like, give me that, and
you've had your whole fucking life to think things over.
Yeah, and the Simpsons did a good parody of this too, like if you ever seen it before. But like that scene is so iconic, like where he's like, do that, and he she just, I mean, that seems like perfect. Like that's one of the best scenes in the movie. I gotta say. And like I love this movie. Like this is one of those movies that you can watch like 100 times and still be entertained because
Mm-hmm.
you'll notice things in the movie that you didn't notice before. You know, and that's what's so cool about it. I mean, I really like the labyrinth scene where Jack is Danny Nicholson's character Jack is trying to catch Danny and he's just chasing him.
And you don't know if he's getting closer or if he's like really far apart. That's what I really like about it. He's just like, Daddy. But that's the thing. Is like it's like intense the whole time because they don't tell you whether he's getting closer or not. Because he could be like 1 second away from catching him. Then he just like freezes to death. Here's Johnny.
I know it. It's such a memorable line. When you think of horror
Mm-hmm.
movies, you automatically go to that line.
Yeah, there's just weird imagery in this film, like the blood coming out of like the elevator. Like that's pretty freaky. And he really doesn't kill like that many people. He just kills like the shining guy, you know, the friend of Danny. But his role is just the way he snaps, and you can just see it like slowly build like throughout the movie. In the beginning, he just seems really positive, like, oh hey, we're gonna take over this Overlook Hotel. And it's just like just gradually starts to break, and then boom, he goes to get himself a drink, and then he imagines himself with all the people at the party.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about the movie. And one of my favorite scenes is where he gets locked in the freezer, and they let him out of the freezer, the ghost.
Yeah, the ghost let him out. That's what the freakiest part is.
Yeah, it was like super freaky, and you're like, what the hell?
No, I think the freakiest part is the decaying corpse that he makes out with.
Oh yeah, that's me. But that's why they keep talking about the room because that Danny knows something like horrifying happened in that room, and then that's where his dad's sanity is just can totally break when he goes in that room, basically. He
Mm-hmm.
totally flew out the door, basically, because he knows that he's, he's saying red rum, which is murder, you know.
Red
So,
rum, red rum,
Yeah.
red rum, red rum.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is my favorite Kubrick movie.
Yeah, this is my favorite Kubrick film too.
Yeah, I mean, it's so iconic. I mean, some people like Clockwork Orange, and that I don't really like that movie, but a lot of people do. But like, this is my favorite. Like, this is my
Yeah, this one's up there. 2001, Clockwork Orange. Full Metal Jacket's another one.
Yeah.
But like this one is my favorite Kubrick film. So what rating would you give The Shining out of 10?
Oh, like I think this movie is like a masterpiece, actually. And I understand that Stephen King was mad that Jack Nicholson was kind of crazy from the start and crazy at the ending, and he wanted like the character to change. But I think Jack Nicholson did such a good job because the thing is, the film The Shining has become more famous than the book. Like more people know about the movie than the book.
Like more people like the movie than the book. It's one of those rare occurrences where the movie's
they
better.
see more. Like Stephen King was at this book signing one time, and he asked everybody in the room. He said, "Now, how many people have seen The Shining?" Everybody put up their hand. He says, "Now, how many people have read The Shining?" There's only a couple of hands up. I mean, that's like the master of Kubrick. Kubrick made a
He
film
made
that-
something better than Stephen King did.
Yeah, because Stephen King knows that. And a lot of people have read Stephen King's books more than they've seen his movie. But this is one of those few movies that everybody's seen because it's so iconic.
Hmm.
This is like Jack Nicholson's iconic role.
I mean, he's had so many, but this is probably like this. I don't know. It's really tough to decide my favorite Nicholson role because he's had so many good ones.
His most famous horror film is The Shining. I would say out of like all the films he's made, I would say this is like the most famous.
Yeah, it could be up there, but yeah. What rating would you give this movie?
Oh man, I love this film. I could watch this film any day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
dung Tuesday, dung Wednesday, dung Thursday, dung.
Yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10. Like, I think it's a masterpiece.
Yep, you guys don't come on here. Like, I usually don't give 10s, but Shining gets a 10 for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing bad to say about this movie. Like, every single second you're in pain. And that's really rare during a horror film, you know? Because usually you get...
It's like, but the thing is, Shining, it's tough to really classify it as just like a typical horror film. It's got like, it's tough to like pinpoint what genre it is because it's so, diverse. It's like so like multi-layered.
It's definitely a horror film.
Yes,
but
definitely.
At the same time, it's also psychological. It's almost like a psychological horror film.
Like a psychological thriller. But you can't really classify. I mean, there's so many different elements in this movie.
There's so many different things to this movie. Like, there is the gore aspect to it.
Well, I wouldn't say that because there's that scene with the blood in the elevator, but it's not like a relentlessly bloody type Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, I know, but like the amount of blood that comes out of that elevator and that scene of those two girls dead is pretty hardcore, you know?
Yeah.
For its time, anyways, when it came out. But, I think that, like, anybody's ever seen this movie, just seeing Danny's eyes, like, light up and thinking about the blood coming out of the elevator.
He's like...
one of the most freaky scenes you'll ever watch. Yeah. I think it's just perfect. And, it's amazing. So you give it a 10 out of 10, I give it a 10 out of 10.
Go check it out. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I don't know, like, I haven't read the book. Did you read the book?
No, but I did read the sequel.
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that, so I hope that gets made into a movie too.
Now, if they made that into a movie, would they make it a sequel to the Kubrick film, or just adapted it on a miniseries on its own?
That's going to be interesting when they make that into a movie. I'm not sure what they're going to go with. Now, I did hear that they were thinking about making a prequel to actually...
yeah, the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah, and to actually, like, Stephen King's and Kubrick version, which would be amazing. I mean, if they did that, that would be awesome.
I was thinking about that. That'd be, like, really strange. But anyways, don't know what else to say about this film. Acting's really good. Directed extremely well. It's just all around pretty much a perfect horror film. Or, like, just a great movie in general. It's Kubrick's best in my eyes. I mean,
I also suggest checking out the documentary Room 237.
You can probably find it on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
All right.
It's a great film, and it goes through like everything you want to know about the film, like every shot. Like it's
Is it just a documentary, or do they like recreate the filming of that?
It's a documentary that goes through like all the scenes of The Shining, and then they talk about different theories about like what stuff means. And some of the theories are kind of crazy, but some of them are like really good. So it's definitely worth checking.
All right, check it out, everyone.
If you get some fan of The Shining, check that out on Netflix.
All right, well, we're gonna get going. I hope you're all enjoying Kubrick Month, and talk to y'all later.
Yeah, and we got Far Cry Dawn coming up, and
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut, and of course Room 237. So that's going to be all this month. So stay tuned because that stuff's coming up.
All right, thank you for watching Kubrick Month. Have a good day.
Okay.